I've been sending my girlfriend on her very own Pokemon journey to be the best like no girlfriend ever was. So far, she's tackled the first 3 generations in the series, and she's practically been begging me to send her to the 4th.
No, I've done a few adventures. I guess my first platinum adventure.
After what went down in Hoenn, she could use a win, but don't just take my word for it. Go and see for yourself.
Did everyone else just see that too?
Rather than make her wait any longer, I decided to pounce on her enthusiasm and send her straight to Sinnoh. She's been studying up on her Pokemon knowledge because she refuses to lose again, but she's got a difficult region ahead of her and one of the toughest champions to go along with her.
Nick, am I about to platinum?
We'll just have to see what kinds of trouble she gets herself into, because this time I made my girlfriend play Pokemon Platinum. Being in the 4th generation wasn't exactly the culture shock it was for many of us as kids, since she's technically been here already in Heart Gold. The physical special split is pretty much old news for her, and even though she's played a lot of Gen 3 in between, it didn't take much to get back into the swing of things. The good news is, from here on out, she's done time traveling between generations, and there won't be unlearning of mechanics between games anymore.
Oh, wow, wait, so everything just stays in my bag now? Okay, well, that's actually like an upgrade then. I was like, wait, I can't use my PC to get items?
As I alluded to in the intro, she got humbled a bit by Gen 3, and the stings from her first loss are still fresh. She constructed a pretty devastating combo during her previous journey, but even that wasn't enough to overcome the brutality of bad RNG.
What?
He hit 3 sheer goals.
How did he hit 3 out of 5?
One-hit knockout moves aren't nearly as broken as they were in the previous generation, but that doesn't mean she can just drop her guard either. From the very start, she decided she needed to build a balanced team that wouldn't immediately crumble if a single member went down.
Yeah, I don't know what Noiki was so impatient about. He didn't tell me, but I mean, you know how impatient he is, and I'm like, yeah, I do.
Doubling down on her own expectations for herself, she went into this playthrough with a promise that she wouldn't lose a single one of her Pokemon. Now, I've heard those words before, but this time I could tell she was serious. In an attempt to call her bluff, I asked what she'd do if she lost a Pokemon, and without skipping a beat, she said she'd hand nicknaming rights straight over to me. Now, that's how you know she's not messing around. But either way, I like that we're raising the stakes a bit this go around.
Cricketot's a bird, right? Cricketot's a bird? A bug?
This seems as good a segue as any to get into the rules for her challenge. I'm feeling a little repetitive repeating myself for the 4th gen in a row now, so I'll keep the rule set as brief as possible. When one of her Pokemon faints, she has to box it and send it to go live on a farm, and along with that, she's limited to only catching the first Pokemon she encounters in a new location. Of course, there's also her favorite rule by far, which is that naming her Pokemon is a requirement, but that privilege is at risk of belonging to yours truly if she's not careful.
Dude.
I'd originally planned to graduate her to some stricter rules by now, but after her loss in the previous gen, I'm not sure she's ready.
I like to think that the Pokemon that kind of beats the gym gets to wear the little badge and then walk around wearing the badge.
So without further ado, it's time for her to get this journey started. Like all Pokemon journeys, it all starts with picking a starter.
So if we ask him, I bet he'd give us some Pokemon. Like, it was so dramatic last time, and now we're just using our manners.
Usually the choice among the 3 is pretty obvious for her, but this go around was not as easy. All 3 picks in the 4th generation are all super solid choices, and each one can hold its own against whatever the region has to offer. Of course, with that being said, each one is also exceptionally adorable, so her main unit of measurement wasn't a good way for her to make a final decision.
Oh, little Turtwig is so cute! And it's a tiny leaf Pokemon! It's a little monkey Chimchar, and he's a chimp Pokemon! Oh my god! It's a penguin Piplup! Oh my god! A penguin Pokemon! Oh no. This is the hardest choice by far.
We appear to have entered a water-type starter bias in this era of her Pokemon journey.
It hurts. I have to go with the penguin, though. I mean, how can I not go with the penguin, you know?
She went with Mudkip and Hoenn, and he was a great choice. Unfortunately, he was almost too great, because when she inevitably lost him, she was completely out of luck. Either way, I have no complaints, because I'm a big fan of water-type starters, and Piplup is usually my top pick as well. If she can raise this Prinny properly, she'll have the only water-steel type in existence in her back pocket.
Okay, his name is Prinny.
The water-steel typing is interesting because it plays well into her major strategy this time through. In her last playthrough, she built a hyper-offensive strategy that focused heavily on powering up her Pokemon in order to sweep her opponents. This go-around, she decided to switch things on their head and play a more defensive game. She wanted to instead focus her attention on crippling her opponent's ability to hurt her.
Imagine a penguin growling at you.
The water-steel typing played a role in her plan since it came with a lot of resistances, but the real crux of her strategy would come about much later.
The cutest wall in existence. that, Sturtwig.
For now, she's still got the early game to tackle, and one stipulation she hadn't considered when betting me that she wouldn't lose a single Pokemon was that she couldn't have any sacrificial lambs in the early game. To get you up to speed, usually she ends up with lots of Pokemon on her team that she doesn't plan to use long term. Obviously, you never want to throw a Pokemon away for nothing, but some situations require a blood sacrifice in order to protect your important ones. She would have had no problem throwing out Nibbles the Bidoof to be a meat shield for her other Pokemon, but then it dawned on her that nicknames were on the line. This encouraged a very cautious style of play from her in the early game.
Should I be worried that the Psyduck is trying to lower Corsage's defense like twice? I've been there before and I'm not doing that shit again.
Pokemon Platinum is similar to Emerald, as it's what I like to think of as the definitive version of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Platinum fixes a lot of things from its predecessors, such as level up movesets, trainer teams, and also what Pokemon are available. There are still, unfortunately, some Pokemon that aren't available, which is a bit of a shame, but she usually tries to give the new faces more time in the limelight rather than use the old ones for her previous teams anyways. Early on, she's got to take what she can get though. The majority of the changes are positive in the long run, so I think it's safe to say she's getting the best experience she could be.
Is that someone dressed as a Pikachu?
Early on, her main focus was to fill out a well-rounded team and avoid the classic pitfall of over-leveling her starter. The first two gyms are pretty straightforward, as they tend to be in most of these games. The rock gym went by simple enough thanks to having the water starter.
Oh my god! Prinny wants to evolve!
He's so cute.
He's so cute! Oh, look at him! He's growing up! A Prinplup. He is very handsome.
And the grass gym wasn't much of a challenge thanks to catching a flying type early on.
Yo, Orion just one-shot us with Wing Attack.
She actually pointed out that it felt like there was a lot more hand-holding in this one than previous titles.
He's showing me.
She appreciated it a bit because where before she'd missed important items entirely, here it was often impossible to progress without the game steering you towards important things first.
Oh, okay. He was not kidding. I thought he just was giving us a warning, that way all kids wouldn't just run off without telling their mom.
Although, if she feels like she's getting handheld now, let's see how she feels a few generations down the line.
Oh, he's literally not letting me leave until I get the Pokétech. To be fair, I kind of appreciate that, because I straight up would just like not get it and be like, I'm stuck in the game. This game literally, I mean, to be fair, I appreciate it because I would just never get this stuff. Ah shit, I have to go to Iron Island first.
Something I always liked about Gen 4 was that it takes a lot of older Pokemon and gives them new evolutions. Sure, there's a lot of baby Pokemon, but many classics get final forms that help take them to the next level.
I've never seen a baby like that in Pokemon. I've seen a baby Pokemon.
Yeah, even the humans have baby forms in Gen 4.
So whenever she'd encounter a familiar face that was a little underwhelming in games past, I'd remind her that they might not be quite how she remembered them.
Cynthia again. She has a really cool outfit. And I love her hair. Oh yeah, Pokemon egg. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Despite all the early encounters there were to find in Sinnoh, she was struggling to settle on permanent team members.
I don't think Prinny's very fast. He tends to like go second, I've noticed.
I mean, he is a penguin.
He is a penguin, they kind of just waddle.
Bidoof was one promising team member that she had initially thought would make a nice permanent addition to her squad. But unfortunately, since she did a lot of playing at night, he couldn't evolve. Of course, she didn't know that, so she got frustrated with him, and so the poor Corsage got boxed. It wasn't until around her third gym battle that her first real star player emerged.
Come on, you got this. Yes!
I'll start by mentioning that the evil team from the Sinnoh region is known as Team Galactic, and they have a much stronger presence in these games than the previous teams she's wrestled with in the past. You encounter them in pretty much every major location you visit. Team Galactic uses a lot of poison-type Pokemon, and a strong Psychic type was her best answer to most of their team members.
God, they're setting potential energy? This is like, like next level for these games. Like, I think last time it was like land versus water.
With that said, it's time for me to introduce a new favorite in our household, in the form of Bronzer the Bronzor.
A Bronzor? It's so cute.
I guess his name has something to do with her makeup, but I couldn't tell you why she finds it so damn funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna name him Bronzer like the makeup.
Either way, I don't really know how to put into words how much she adored little Bronzer here. I think the best I can do is call him the Jeep of Generation 4.
Bronzer wants to evolve! Oh my god. He's so cool!
This little guy was her answer to pretty much anything thanks to his Steel Psychic typing. Not only does he decimate most battles with Team Galactic thanks to his psychic attacks, but being a Steel type makes him completely immune to poison as well.
Bronzer is killing it.
Let's take a second to talk about being a Steel Psychic type.
You got this, Bronzer. Nice.
Since we're living in the past here in the 4th generation, Steel still resists Dark and Ghost, which are Psychic's 2 main weaknesses. And since Psychic resists Steel's fighting weakness, that means that Bronzor only has 2 weaknesses, being Ground and Fire. At least that would be the case if he ignored the fact he came with the ability Heat Proof, which makes him take half damage from fire attacks. So in reality, there's only really one way to hurt him. Of course, all this comes at the price of him being incredibly weak offensively, but his defensive stats totally make up the difference.
No, I have to heal up though. Drink some milk. Bronzer's has like the little milk mustache.
With all of that said, you can probably imagine why Bronzer was her go-to panic Pokemon whenever she needed to switch out of danger.
He landed another Focus Blast. He's 3 for 3. Oh, no.
Most attacks only tickled him, and he walled off most major threats. He single-handedly dealt with Fantina's Ghost-type Pokemon in the 3rd gym, and pretty much always had a role to play in the major battles ahead of her. Bronzer was at the heart of her team, but defense isn't going to win all her battles for her.
Nice. Good job, Chopper!
The offensive powerhouse of her team has yet to be introduced to you all, and he's a Pokemon that needs no introduction.
A Gibble? What is this? It's so cute.
Chomper the Gibble was her encounter in the secret entrance to Wayward Cave, which she was able to find thanks to yours truly.
Ooh.
Garchomp, who is Gibble's final form, is notorious for being an absolute powerhouse in the 4th generation, and he was a great complement to Bronzer's defense. He takes quite a lot of effort to grow, but once he's all grown up, he'll be a force to reckon with. It's just a matter of waiting to see if she can get him there.
I believe in Gibble. I believe in Gibble. I believe in Gibble. Yeah! I believed!
Similar to how we deviated from the main storyline in Emerald to mess around with some of the side content,
Yes. Oh my god! This is like in Heart Gold.
we took a couple of detours here as well.
I got a fashion case. I don't even know what that is, but I like it. It says fashion. Dress up your Pokemon and watch their appeal grow?
That's just it, Taryn. The contest for making a comeback.
The contest! Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Pokemon contests are back, and this time with some extra flair. Hearthome being the hub introduces them a lot earlier than Emerald did, and the game actually makes you go out of your way to visit the contest hall this go around.
Wait, that's my mom? My mom is a contest star? This is amazing. I've never spoken to Tony about contests. Glitter powder? Don't mind if I do, thank you. That is the best thing anyone has ever given me in this game.
I always knew dressing up Pokemon for the contest would be a big hit, but I never expected her to go quite this crazy.
Oh my god, I'm wearing a dress and I have a bow! Oh! This is how you do contests.
She gave it a few swings, but had no choice but to admit that she was hopelessly lost when it came to the rhythm dancing section of the competitions. Using the excuse that she wanted to unlock more costumes, she quietly snuck out the back door of the competition hall and made a beeline for the gym.
There's a dance competition, but I didn't practice with wildfire.
Admittedly, she'd stand a much better chance of winning if she baked some poffins for her Pokemon, but I'm not sure going down that rabbit hole is good for getting her through the rest of the game. I guess for now, our Ribbon Master in the making ought to focus on collecting more gym badges.
Oh, I don't understand.
No, you tap. Yes.
Oh, this?
So it's right. See? Oh.
I don't understand.
Coincidentally, the fighting and water gym came next. She made pretty quick work of fighting thanks to her psychic and flying type Pokemon,
Yo, it was a crit.
Good work, Bronzer.
We've taken out the 4th gym.
and water was also a breeze thanks to her electric type. She also pulled little Corsage out of retirement for that battle, and even though the fight was during the day, he still refused to evolve for her. Either way, she unlocked Surf, and along with it, opened up more of the map.
We're done here.
At some point during her journey around Sinnoh, she discovered Pokeball seals, which were another distraction.
Aww.
The seals essentially are a way to decorate your Pokeballs, and depending on which stickers you attach, different effects will happen when your Pokemon gets sent out.
This is amazing. Oh, and it has the little pretty next to it. Oh my god.
For the time being, she only has a handful of these stickers, but there's a store that sells them much later in the game. For now, she decorated her team with what she had and used the promise of more stickers to motivate her to keep on pushing forward to get to that coveted sticker store.
I love the heart. That works out because it's my bronzer.
The changes between generations have definitely taken their toll on her. She's familiar with Gen 4 thanks to Heart Gold, but most recently she played Emerald and then Leaf Green with me during our Soul Link. It's hard to blame her for getting confused sometimes and thinking that things work differently than they do. Aside from occasionally forgetting that dark type moves aren't all special anymore, she had a couple of near misses thanks to some moves working differently than they used to.
Oh shit, I heard Chomper. Ah! that. Okay, don't do that anymore. No more surfing. I accidentally surfed Chomper too. He's okay, but on accident.
Something as small as which Pokemon get hit by an attack in a double battle seems kind of insignificant, but when it can lead to knocking out your own teammates, you start to realize how dangerous not knowing the rules can be. Ironically, double battles are quite common as there are several sections of Sinnoh that allow you to explore with a companion. This is the developer's way to force double battles for entire sections of the game, but the novelty of fighting alongside another character is something that hasn't worn off for her quite yet. Although, forgetting that Surf now hits all Pokemon including her partners makes her a less than desirable companion if you ask me.
Sorry, Munchlax. Forgive me. There's no greater sacrifice than someone else's.
Like the generation before it, this game has far too many HMs required for navigating the world, and oftentimes you can't even fit them all on one Pokemon. The worst offender by far is Defog, which my girlfriend described as being a much worse version of Flash.
The game decided to have fog. It's never had that before.
Fumbling around in the dark is one thing, but it never had any effect on the actual battles in the area. Stumbling around in the fog sucks bad enough on its own, but then there's the fact you miss all your attacks 40% of the time on top of it.
Both of our attacks missed. Is it because of the fog?
Yeah.
I could feel her seething every time an attack would miss on the foggy routes, and I think I speak for both of us when I say we're glad they never brought the fog mechanic back.
How can I be confused and paralyzed? Bronzer's been confused like way more than anyone else this playthrough. The only person more confused than Bronzer is me.
The Canalave City gym leader uses steel types, but her Chomper made light work of him thanks to learning Dig. 2 of his 3 Pokemon have a quad weakness to ground, so the battle was pretty much over before it started. And I was really starting to think she might actually pull off not losing a single Pokemon at this point. But we're about to enter the story-heavy sections of the game, and some of the battles can be really tough, so she's gonna need to be careful and not get too cocky.
Our boss is doing something big at the summit. It's like, so you just have to be in this cold cave?
Sinnoh has a bit of a reputation for being an incredibly slow region, but if you ask me, it's just because Gen 4s know how to relax. Most people will point to that infamous clip of Blissy's health going down, but the thing I think of is the surf speed in Diamond and Pearl. I guess it explains why the rival's so damn impatient, but fortunately they fixed a lot of these problems in Platinum, so she's got it much easier.
Oh my god. You know how I was talking about how Noiki was like really impatient? I was laughing? Guess what he just called me? Slow! Why is this so accurate to real life? It's because you're too goddamn impatient. That's why you think I'm slow.
I didn't even. You're getting mad at me for something that a character in a game said to you. I didn't say anything.
But I mean, it's just resonating a little too close to home, you
Oh
know?
my god.
He just called me slow. What am I supposed to think?
That's not me.
But his name is Noiki.
You named him that.
Although, there's still plenty of moments where things grind to a halt for no reason. Like, who was it that decided there ought to be a swamp level where every step you have to wiggle yourself out? Part of why sharing these games with her has been so much fun for me is I get to watch her question all the things we just accepted as kids.
You see the tip of my hat.
And watching her trudge waist deep through snow was just the icing on the cake for me.
How can you see me in this blizzard? That is my question.
The walk up to Snow Point City is much longer than anything you actually do in it. By this point, her Prinny has finally evolved into Empoleon, which means she has a hard counter to anything the Ice Leader can throw at her. Steel's an incredibly weak offensive type, but funnily enough, Ice is one of the types it's super effective against. Since Water and Steel both resist Ice, there really wasn't much that could hurt my girlfriend's new Emperor Penguin. She picked up the TM for Flash Cannon from the previous gym leader, and that move was pretty much all she needed for a swift victory.
There we go. Awesome. Love that for me. Good work, guys.
Which leads me to the major story fights on top of Mount Coronet.
Oh, damn.
Personally, I always felt like Generation 4 was the one where Pokemon started taking itself a little too seriously.
Oh my god. But they're just gonna leave all the Magikarps to just flop around? Those assholes. I know, I saw on TV that they literally like blew up the lake bed, and I'm like, there's bombs in Pokemon.
We went from legendary Pokemon who represented natural disasters and weather phenomena to suddenly capturing creatures that shaped the very fabric of space and time.
A child never will stop the flow of time. Well, neither will Team Galactic, so.
Even as a grade schooler, I remember finding it a little ridiculous that a 10-year-old kid was able to capture the god of time in a Pokeball, and yet with little to no consequence overall.
Shaping our world, our time and space in an intertwining spiral. Wait, so is this game actually about like time and space? Because that's like a giant step up from like water and earth.
In this one, we're working with the International Police, and I guess we just have to take their word for it and assume that we're one of the good guys.
Yeah, he was a mysterious man.
He's hiding behind
he's secret police. I'm like, that's pretty dark for a Pokemon game. Like, it's secret police, and he blew his own cover. Luke was like, I was just making small talk. I'm a globe-trotting elite of the international police. Oh, not secret police, it's international police. Get less dark. Yeah. But why are there police in Pokemon?
After chasing Team Galactic all the way to the summit of the mountain, there's a final showdown with the Galactic Generals that we've been butting heads with the entire game. But thankfully, she's got some extra help from yours truly as well.
Noiki! So
for once, naming the rival after me has not backfired, as I usually get read the Riot Act if my character is responsible for the deaths of any of her Pokemon.
Is this a double battle with Noiki? Wait, do I actually get to have a double battle with Noiki? I get to have a double battle with Noiki! Oh, this is so fun!
Either way, after the generals go down, all that's left to do is face off with the big bad himself. Or at least that would have been the case if this were Diamond and Pearl.
Look at those giant, like, legendaries too behind them. Like, why would you turn your back on them?
Unfortunately, space and time weren't the only mythical forces unleashed, and with Team Galactic's actions, a third Pokemon has torn a rift into the distortion world.
There's glowing eyes! Look at that menacing aura. Interesting. Okay, no, you should be screaming right now. This is terrifying.
This area is completely unique to Platinum, and admittedly a lot of fun to explore your first time through.
I'm hopping!
After pushing some strength boulders and surfing up a waterfall, you can find Cyrus down at the heart of the world, waiting for a final battle.
So selfish, and he's just throwing a tantrum. He has 5 Pokemon, though. Oh, man, his Houndoom has leveled up. Go, Toby! Bum, 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 bum. No! No, 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 Tom! Nice, 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 nice. Nice! Okay, we got out that guy. Oh my god! No! Because it just didn't care at all about my defenses up because it was a crit. What do I even do? He was like the backbone of my entire team.
Oh, she was so close. And of course, of all the Pokemon, it had to be her absolute favorite, didn't it? It's always because of a crit. Always because of a crit. Of course, this means she lost our little bet, but I'll wait to bring it up until she actually catches something. And she just so happens to have a big and scary encounter sitting right in front of her.
Holy shit!
What?
You just got a shiny Pokemon!
I just got a shiny?
You just got a shiny Pokemon! Oh my god! You know how rare that is? Oh my god!
I'm shiny!
That's so rare!
It's legendary!
Yeah, you got the shiny!
So what the heck just happened here? Well, this is a shiny Pokemon. A palette swap that is a 1 in 8,192 chance to appear when encountering a wild Pokemon. She's played through 3.5 games at this point and has never seen one. Now, I'd always suspected she'd find one eventually, but I never in a million years would have imagined it being the box art legendary.
Just got a shiny.
That's my first shiny.
Your first shiny was a shiny Giratina. Oh my god!
In all my years of playing Pokemon, I've gotten a grand total of 5 shinies, and I can tell you I've never gotten a shiny legendary before. I don't know if she'll ever see another one again, but I don't think it matters. With luck like this, I'm keeping her around.
You know what's funny though?
What?
I get to name it.
No!
Never before has there been a greater jump from elation to absolute disappointment in a game I've had her play. You better believe I'm holding her to her promise, though.
Oh no. Okay, how do I spell that? I cannot believe I'm naming my fucking Giratina Squeebles.
After the exhilaration of capturing a sparkling deity, the bittersweet reality was that we also lost a friend along the way. Bronzer wasn't just a friend though, but a key part of my girlfriend's strategy. Even with the renegade Pokemon in her back pocket, she still needed to take on the last gym leader and then the Pokemon League afterward.
I'm keeping him with his heart seal sticker because he deserves it. This is rubbing salt in the wound. Fuck. Okay.
Despite having Giratina now, she was a little apprehensive about using him. There were a lot of things that I could point to. Maybe it was his rarity and too good to use syndrome at its worst, or it may have been she already had a reliable and powerful dragon-type Pokemon in Chomper. I'd even argue she was just flat out afraid of the thing. Whatever it was, it gave me some mad Yu-Gi-Oh vibes, where she won the Egyptian God card but waited 19 episodes to use it for the first time.
But it's a really powerful card, and using it could be very dangerous, so I'm going to have to be careful.
Oh! It did the shiny! Whoa! It just barely hung on. That was amazing!
Anyways, she always had him in the back of her party as a fallback plan, just in case.
Squeeble's gonna have the confetti because it's a celebration.
Perhaps the one thing that kept her spirits up in Bronzer's absence was that she finally made it to the coveted sticker store.
I will feel way better after buying Pokemon seals.
She could now purchase Pokeball seals for all 6 team members and deck them out with fun effects across the board. Once her shopping was out of the way and the cobwebs were out of the corners, it was finally time to get down to the bear hunt.
I feel like we still have some weaknesses.
Once Bronzer was sent to live off at the farm in the sky, we looked over her available Pokemon to see who could fill the void. Having not lost a single Pokemon until now, she had plenty of good options, but she ended up settling on a Swinub after learning that the next gym would be an electric type one. With Chomper and her new Mammoth in hand, the 8th and final gym was pretty light work.
Well, Shelby just took out Jolteon in one go, so.
All that stood between her and the final 5 fights of the game was Victory Road.
Noiki! Dude, I'm just trying to surf. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna challenge you to a battle now. I hate to say it, but I know you're tougher than me.
She's been through 3 of these dungeons by this point, so she kinda knows what to expect. A little bit of rock pushing here, and a bit of climbing waterfalls there, and that about sums it up. The trainers in Victory Road are usually pretty tough, but nothing she can't handle at this point.
Orion! It was a crit!
Yikes. Another beloved team member taken from us too early. I wish I could say the misfortune ended there, but it's far from over. Once she finally made it out of the cave, she made the mistake of thinking she was safe. While prepping for the battles to come, she tried to go and buy more items when a familiar face showed up at the worst possible time.
Now is not the time. Fuck! No, that's exactly... I'm not ready for this fight! Noiki, no! I didn't heal! And he has 6 Pokemon! Oh my god, who can I even go to? The Munchlax. When this one's his little Munchlax, okay, the Snorlax is gonna be pissed at me because I surfed it.
Oh no.
Nice, I got the para.
Oh,
But I'm immune though, right? Oh no, I'm not immune?
quad weak to that.
Fuck!
Oh my god. Get him out of there. Get him out of
To who?
I think it's time to pull out the big guns.
Now let's do this!
Summon it, summon it, summon it.
Prepare to experience a power like no other!
No! What the? Squeeballs! What the fuck? It was a fucking crit!
Even gods tremble at the mercy of the rival battles. Ignoring the irony that that's the second Pokemon she's lost to a crit Night Slash, she's kinda in an awkward spot now, team-wise.
I'm just going through like however many stages of grief. And I think I'm in denial right now.
She was right in the middle of rebuilding her team with the loss of her Staraptor, and now she's lost the Pokemon she was planning to replace her HM slave with for the Elite Four.
It's bullshit that can even happen. Like, I'm literally just running from one side of the, like, lobby to the other.
Remember earlier when I talked about when she names the rival after me, she ends up blaming me for killing her Pokemon? Well, let's just say this is one of those times where she's mega pissed.
Why do I always do that?
You know what's weird is all 3 of those were to crits.
That's what I'm saying. Every single one went out to a crit.
Crit Night Slash.
Yeah.
Crit cross chop.
And then another crit Night Slash. That's what's I'm literally doing a team rebuild during the team rebuild. How do I always lose my legendary, by the way?
The team rebuilding during the team rebuild must now commence. After what happened the last time she challenged a league, she's doing all the necessary preparations to give herself the best shot possible. Considering this is one of the hardest Elite Fours in the series, she really wants to win this go-around. Not to mention, the champion's a pretty big step up from the Elite Four at that. And with that being said, after looking at her box of Pokemon, 2 standouts fit the bill perfectly, but they were gonna need a little glow-up first.
To get going on our adventure.
Earlier on in her journey, she hatched a Togepi, who happens to be the same normal flying type that her Staraptor had.
Yo, the egg's hatching!
It is more specially offensive, but it would be the most simple replacement of the lot. That said, this Togepi is special because it came with Serene Grace, which doubles the chance of flinching opponents with Air Slash. Of course, in order to flinch, you need to be faster, so most people give it Thunder Wave. She doesn't have access to that move until the post-game, but that's where her second team member comes in.
Oh, Corsage is evolving!
Yes, coming full circle and finally seeing the light of day, Corsage is making a comeback, and he's going to use his Stun Spore to help Sunnyside land flinches. Having to wake up extra early to grind Pokemon before work is a bit of a tough sell on a good day, but the thought of losing the league made the grind palatable.
He looks so cool! He's got a bouquet in each hand. He's like, I'm ready.
Thankfully, since this is Platinum, she has access to more than one Shiny Stone for the 2 evolutions. So with that out of the way, there's only one small thing left to do.
Yo! Oh my god! I got one!
Did you really think we'd make another Pokemon video and not do some gambling? Togekiss hits like a truck with special attacks, but in order to get any decent moves on her, she's going to need to get some TMs. Sinnoh is notorious for having a lack of fire types, and Flamethrower is the perfect move to give to her special attacking egg. Grinding coins in this one isn't quite as mindless as Gen 3, so we're going to have to settle for just the 1 TM.
Only 9,500 to go.
With all the necessary preparations out of the way, it's time to finally let her loose and see what happens.
Oh my god! Bronzer! I am so glad that I gambled for that TM. Oh my god. I know Bronzer inside and out, his one weakness. Fire. Whew. It's time for the champion.
The Elite Four is notoriously tough in this game, but the champion is a whole other animal. She's done well to make it with a full team of 6, but the question remains, will it be enough?
Cynthia! Cynthia! She's the freaking champion! She is so cool and I'm so scared, but she has amazing hair! She looks so cool! What the hell is a spirit tomb? Get him out of here. Hydro Pump. Thank you, Stealth Rock. You were useful when I needed you. She is a Garchomp. Shelby's moment. 62? Come on. We are ground type. Okay, come on, Shelby. 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 Shelby, Shelby. Oh! Shelby! Oh! Good work, Shelby. That. Oh my God, Shelby! It's all paying off. Oh my God, oh my God, I'm so excited. I have to keep my cool. I have to keep my cool. Come on, Dragon Rush, come on, Dragon Rush. Yeah, good job, Chomper! Yeah! Let's go, Chomper. Okay, good work, good work, good work. Pretty's like, ah! Good work, Pretty. Cap. This one is S. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay. Just gotta lift the poison. That's true, that's true, that's true.
Cheeky level up.
Ooh! Yeah! I won! I redeemed myself.
Not a single casualty for the entire league. And on top of that, for the first time since Gen 1, a starter made it all the way to the Hall of Fame.
Everyone made it.
They all win.
Ooh, they all made it! No one got left behind.
I'm proud to announce that once again, I'm dating a Pokemon Master.
I won! And everybody helped me. This was my team.
And with the 4th generation completed, I think it's finally time we link back up and paid a visit to some old friends. But that's a story for another day.